In an earlier video, I talked about the cybersecurity risks of a fleet of Chinese EVs on our roads, gathering all sorts of information, video, images, audio, GPS data, you name it, and sending it all back to the People's Republic. And whilst this kind of data leakage is bad enough, we now need to consider an information flow in the opposite direction, where a threat actor sends commands to vehicles remotely to alter its functions or even to disable it completely. This is the reality that we are facing now, with millions of Burn Your Driveway (BYD) EVs on our roads, all with extraordinary levels of connectivity and functionality that could be exploited in a time of increased tensions between China and the West. It is claimed that even the UK Prime Minister's car had a Chinese bug in it. What is to stop commands being sent to vehicles to make them stop suddenly and create a gridlock, or accelerate uncontrollably into a crowd of pedestrians? I'm glad to say that the only connectivity in my 1970 MG Midget is an AM radio. Good luck hacking that to control the car remotely. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer turned Sydney YouTuber. Please be sure to like, share and subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment down below, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter X. As the UK Times reports, Beijing could remotely stop electric cars made in China on UK roads. MPs warned that best-selling connected vehicles made in China could give access to personal data without permission and gridlock cities. Beijing could gridlock Britain's roads by remotely stopping electric vehicles made in China, posing a major security threat, MPs have been warned. Electric vehicles can potentially be controlled, adjusted and ultimately even stopped, a vulnerability that could be exploited by China if its relationship with the UK badly deteriorated, an economic security review was told. Beijing, which has ambitious plans to expand sales of Chinese-made cars in Europe, could also use the cars to steal sensitive data from motorists. China boasts the world's best-selling maker of electric cars, BYD, which outsold Elon Musk's company Tesla by 4,000 sales in the final quarter of last year. And then there is the more direct threat to national security that these cars pose. Sir Richard Dearlove, the former head of MI6, separately called on the government to consider banning the use of Chinese electric vehicles on sensitive national infrastructure sites and by cabinet ministers. He told The Times that the issue was the next Huawei, referring to the Chinese firm that was banned from the 5G network after security concerns were raised. Last year, Sir Ian Duncan-Smith, the former Conservative leader who has been outspoken about Beijing, claimed that Chinese tracking devices were installed in Rishi Sunak's prime ministerial car, which had to be stripped down. Number 10 refused to comment at the time. Even the EV-mad US government has had to concede there are risks. This month, the Biden administration announced an investigation into whether Chinese cars pose a national data security risk because electric vehicles collect large amounts of sensitive data on their drivers and passengers and regularly use their cameras and sensors to record detailed information on US infrastructure. The White House said the investigation would examine the issue of vehicles being remotely disabled or piloted. And the biggest laugh out loud moment comes from the Chinese government itself. Don't take a drink just yet, as you may just spit it all over the walls. A spokesman for the Chinese embassy said the accusations were baseless and full of ideological bias. He added, "The Chinese government takes data privacy and security very seriously. It has never asked and will never ask any company or individual to collect or provide data, information or intelligence located abroad against local laws." Yeah, right. Anything you say. Joking aside, this is an extremely serious threat. Our motor vehicles have traditionally been manufactured in Europe and the US, with the odd terrible exception like Great Wall and those awful MG rip-offs. But with the rise of EVs, brands like BYD are starting to have significant market penetration. And unless the cyber risks are addressed, there may be extremely serious consequences.